Paris,
How are
hello.
you?
I'm doing well. It's so great to meet you. Thanks for joining us today. We have so much to chat about, and for those who are just tuning in, we are chatting with Parris Lewis, who plays Aline in Tina, the Tina Turner musical. Aline is Tina's sister in the show and in real life as well. So if you have any questions for Paris,
Thank
go ahead and put them in the comments. We'll
you.
get to as many as
I
possible. But first of
have.
all, welcome
Sorry,
to
I have my
Chicago.
dog who
Have you
is.
been to Chicago
Um,
before?
he likes to be in the shot, so he may be in the shot. I have been in Chicago before. I've actually come here. I was here
Fine.
in the end of January, beginning in February of last year. I was here with Hairspray. Hi, Andrew. I love you. Oh. Yeah, I was here with Hairspray last year, so this is my second time here. Actually, it's probably my third time, but like second time professionally working.
So fun. And Hairspray was such a fun show, and we loved having it here. And we're so great to have you, or we're so excited to have you back now. Is there anything that you are
Honestly,
doing
like
in
many
the
places,
city
I'm
while you're
eating.
here?
And because it's the winter, I'm trying to explore, but as many indoor places as possible. So I'll probably check out some museums. Yesterday, I tried to go see Annie, so I might try to see that. A friend of mine is in the cast. And yeah, I'm not sure. I'm focused on trying to experience new places that I didn't experience when I was here last. So if you have any suggestions, put them in the comments. Yeah.
So good. Well, we have so much to chat about. This show is jam-packed. I saw it last night, and you all were just so phenomenal. It's so good. But I want to start at the beginning of your journey as an actor and as a singer as well. And what really sparked your love for performing
Yeah.
and you thought to yourself, okay,
What
like I'm
sparked
gonna
my
do this
journey?
professionally
Honestly, I
in my life.
started as a dancer first when I was really, really young. My mom had me in dance programs, and by the time I was like 8 or 9, I kind of was like, I'm not really sure if this is for me. I always knew I could sing because I grew up in a church, so I was just like, huh. And while I was auditioning for middle schools, honestly, I jumped on the vocal line instead of the dance. I got off the dance line and got on the vocal line. And it's kind of like history after that. I started studying music regularly. And ever since I was really young, I just kind of knew, like, I'm a star. You know, those kids that you're like, I don't know who's raising you, but you got something. And I kind of knew that for myself, whether people around me encouraged it or whether they understood. I knew I wanted to be a performer. I just wasn't sure in which capacity. By the time I was exiting middle school, honestly, I knew I wanted to be an opera singer. And so my parents found programs for me to study classical music. And that was a little bit of my trajectory for a while, just trying to be a classical singer. And it kind of led me on a journey that led me here, honestly, through doing other like various genres of music and singing all over New York City. That's where I'm from. I found my way into other opportunities, and it made me expand my palette. And musicals were a part of that. Starting to go see shows and really like watching on stage, like, this is nothing like opera, but I could do that. I could do that. Yeah. And so I just kind of like jumped into it head first, not much experience, but being a singer first, you do have experience, right? There's like kind of an old saying that like when people run out of things to say, they sing. When people have no more words, they dance. And I interpret a lot of my work that way, that we all may not have the same experiences that brought us to this stage, right, in this production, but our life experiences can help us tell these stories, and our life experiences can help bring these things to life. And that has been definitely a push in my acting journey as well, like listening to the words, listening to the lyrics, and bringing those into all the things that make our performances what they are. So yeah.
Absolutely. I want to talk more about this your classical training in opera. It's just so fascinating. And specifically, is there something that you learned and gathered
Oh,
in your classical
oh
singing
yes.
training that has
The
really
main
helped
thing,
you
honestly, is
in the
not
world of
discipline.
musical theater?
The discipline that I got studying classical music has remained my foundation no matter where I end up going and no matter like what genre or capacity that I'm working in and performing, because the commitment that I had to put to the music, I keep that same intention, whether it's with my learning my lines or learning the choreo, right? The commitment and the time that you put into the music of learning these characters is the same commitment that I put into anything else. But then also, I will say, something as simple as like the foundation of my voice and what keeps me strong, but also what keeps my voice supported and honestly consistent. I feel that my classical background and singing opera for so long gave me a better knowledge of my voice and my body as an instrument, and not focusing on all these other things like dancing, like acting, right? They have some, they definitely are incorporated in operas. However, my foundation allows me to check in a lot faster with my voice, and knowing that I can't show up to the theater and start screaming Tina Turner within an hour with zero vocal warm up, right? Or just checking in with my voice regularly. There's a funny thing that our castmates are kind of used to with me. It can be like 1 a.m. and I'll do a lip trill, like in the middle of a sentence. At first, people will be like, "What are you doing?" But now they're like, "She's checking in with her voice." Yes, it's 1 o'clock in the morning, but I may have to sing very early tomorrow, or it's 2 a.m. and I'm checking in to see where my voice is. If that lip trill doesn't feel healthy and it doesn't sound full and sustained all the way through, good night, friends. I'm going to bed because my voice is thinning. It means I need rest, you know? So little things like that become big things in the scope of sustaining, especially on a tour in a musical. Your body's tired, so your voice will give out. And I feel that my classical foundation has definitely helped sustain me and keep me consistent. If anything, I'm very reliable. The voice will be on. Yeah.
And well, talking about Tina specifically, you are also the understudy for Tina, which is so fantastic. And I think I saw on
Oh
Instagram you
no.
recently
Well,
ish
I made my Tina
made your
debut
Tina
in
debut. Is that correct?
Cincinnati back in October. So that was my first time, like, just debuting my Tina to the cast, to the world. And that was like a beautiful time. As of today, I've been on for Tina 27 times. So it's a little more consistent at this point, right? But I kind of look at it, and any new city is a debut. You know, the crowd is different, and these people don't know me as an artist. They don't know me as a Tina, and so it's an opportunity to introduce myself.
Mm. Do you feel that your performance as Aline, as Tina's
Oh,
sister, has changed now that you
I
have
won't say it
performed
has changed,
as
but it has
Tina?
definitely made me more conscious of the role that I play when opposite Tina. But also, honestly, it makes me more conscious of my Tina, no matter who it is, whether it's me or I'm supporting Ari, Naomi, Zurin, KB, because we have multiple Tinas on this tour that help carry this role. And it has made me more conscious of how I'm showing up for them. Aline is like the comedic relief of the show. She's the person that is validating Tina even when things don't seem as sure, right, within their family unit. But she's also the person that is keeping it real and keeping the story a little lighter, right? Because it can feel so heavy at some points. And her relationship with Eileen is like, yeah, girl, that's happening, but you're a star, and I support you, and I love you, and I know things are crazy, but I got your back. And I feel like the energy that I bring into that also keeps the Tina like a bit lighter, you know, and reminding that I know you got a big number coming in 2 minutes. However, for these seconds that I'm on stage with you, let's have a good time. Don't think about that, girl. Let's have fun, you know. And it makes me conscious in that way. But when I'm as I guess say when I am Tina, it makes me more conscious of the beats that I'm taking and how Tina's not as eager as Eileen is, especially in the beginning of the show, within the honestly the first maybe 20, 30 minutes of the show. She's not as sure of herself because everything feels new. And because of who Eileen is and because of the energy that Eileen gives her, it allows Tina to grow and open up. So yeah.
Well, I do want to take a moment to talk about your activism and your work outside of theater. And specifically, I loved from your website, when I'm not performing, I teach songwriting choir classes throughout the New York City Department of Education. I also teach songwriting to incarcerated teens for Carnegie Hall. And I just would love to take a moment to talk about the importance of
Yes.
music and the arts in
My
youth.
teaching is a big part of who I am. I have a degree in music education, K through 12. So literally when I'm not on tour, I'm back in the school or in front of a group of people like, all right, friends, let's party. And I look at the songwriting, but as well as like sharing our musical experiences as a party. And it's really important to me, especially in the work that I do within Carnegie Hall. It's been a journey, and I've grown a lot working in that building, but also outside of that building with the amazing people that I've worked with in the Future Music Project and the Wild Music Institute. And it's important to me because outside of my regular, I guess I would say school schedule, a regular DOE public school schedule is like 7 a.m. to maybe 6 p.m. if you're doing after school, right? These kids are here all day. They spend more time with you than they do with their parents. And so I want their experiences here to be inviting, but also exciting and something that's educational that they probably can't tell is educational because we're having such a good time, right? And whether it's songwriting or building a musical, it's something that I just kind of find fun because I'm able to have up to 3 hours with these kids, and I want to inspire them to see the world, but also hear the music around them in the world. It doesn't always have to come through a speaker. It doesn't always have to come off of a page, but it's inside of us and what inspires us, and allow them to see themselves in other capacities that they don't see in their day-to-day lives. I didn't know any opera singers growing up. I didn't know Black people sang opera, but I heard a track one day in school, and then it sparked all these thoughts, and it made me search for things. And luckily, I was able to have access to programs where people could show me that I could exist in this world. So that's kind of really what drives me. But I'm especially within the incarceration capacity. I got a lot of love for those kids. I've worked with young ladies and young men, mainly young men, who are caught up in the juvenile justice system. Every day is not a good day. Most days are not a good day. You're not living at home. You're a ward of the state. And most times when I come in, they're like, Miss, I don't want to do music today. I'm like, I feel you. So what do you want to do? Let's talk. And we'll talk. And then we'll turn the things that we're talking about into songs, into poems. And that stuff pushes me, and it also drives me to want to keep showing up for them, because over time you see that these experiences are changing these young people. These experiences are making them conscious of themselves. Their social emotional skills are growing, and they're able to be more aware of how they're affecting a space, but also how a space is affecting them. And when young people are able to identify that, they're better able to serve themselves, but also the spaces that they share, because they're able to know their triggers. They're able to know when something doesn't suit them. And that's really more important to me, that they can communicate what they're feeling.
Mm, absolutely. Wow. Well, we are nearing the end of our time, but I do want to touch on one more thing. Your Instagram handle is Renaissance Woman _, which, by the way, you all can go and follow her afterwards. But can you talk
Yes.
a little bit about
I
just
chose Renaissance
why you
Woman
chose
because
Renaissance Woman?
I've never felt like one thing. When I was really young, I used to play basketball very seriously. And I also did slam poetry around the city outside of my singing. So I was always like a really busy kid. And I remember people always telling me, or often telling me, you're going to have to choose one day. You're going to have to choose. And I would always say, why? Why do I have to choose? I don't have to be one thing. Or nobody said that you can only be one thing successfully. And that meant a lot to me. And so I used to push and more so force myself to show up in the best way that I could, so people couldn't dispute the talent or the capability that I knew I had. And then what finalized that was honestly me trying to prove that to my high school voice teacher. He made a joke one day and he's like, what don't you do? You're like a little Renaissance woman, huh? And I never forgot it. And so when I actually made an Instagram, which was 2 years later, that was my name, Renaissance Woman. And I kind of just stuck with it because I felt like it definitely did fit me. And I am a multifaceted person, and also just I wouldn't say well-rounded because we all have room to grow, but the experiences that I have definitely all poured into who I am. And I think that no matter who I meet, it's definitely red.
Oh,
Thank
Paris, thank
you.
you so much for taking the time to chat with us. We are so grateful. And a bit of your Renaissance story, it's so fantastic. Y'all who are watching, come out, come see Tina. The songs and the music and just this company, it's really electric. It'll have you on your feet at the end of the show, dancing and singing along. It's so fantastic. It is here until April 2nd only. So you got a few weeks. Come out, come join us. Tickets are at BroadwayInChicago.com. It's at the James M. Nederlander Theater. We got $25 lottery, $49 rush, and all the options for you to come see Parris and the rest of this entirely incredibly
Thank you so much. Thanks for coming to see
brilliant
the show.
company that you all are. Parris, thank you so much for joining. So good. So fantastic.
Awesome.
Thank you all
Thank
for
you.
joining and
Bye-bye.
tuning in today. And